Well, good morning.
Hey, hey!
Hey, hey.
That's your line.
I know,
I
but
stole your line.
I know I should say hey, hey, and then you get to do the Fat Albert thing.
Hey, hey, hey.
There we are.
There it is. Anyway, boy, it's good to be back with you guys again. We've been thinking about several different things and praying about several things that we might talk with you all about, and I'm really excited about today's topic. This is like super cool. You know, it's not infrequent that as we join in, you know, after we've been in a relationship with someone for a long time, that sometimes we begin to kind of think about those days gone by, like when we first got together. And, you know, we've been together, what, 22 years now?
22. Really going on 23 at this point.
Yeah, really close, actually. But it's funny how we begin to think, are we missing out on something, or we think maybe something's wrong because we don't feel exactly the same way as we did when we first met after 22 years, right?
Right.
So love matures and chemicals change.
Yes, they do.
We'll talk a little bit about that today.
I don't want to talk about that because I'm over 50. Hey, there's Denise. Hi, Denise.
What's up, Denise?
Oh, man,
Great to
it's
see
good.
you on today.
Yeah,
Good to see you.
by the way, give us a shout out from where you're listening at.
You guys know the deal. You got to let us know where you're listening from. Besides that, every time you comment, it boosts how Facebook allows this post to be able to see. So,
right, you help us to impact families.
The more of you all that say or make a comment there, it's just the way the algorithms work. The more that you do that, then the more that it boosts the post so that more people can see it. So make sure you say something to us and say howdy. We're going to be talking about how you can reclaim
Love's euphoria. Ooh, I like that.
And we all need it.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is we all need it, because if you've been together for a while, hey, Joseph, say hey. Tell us where you're listening from there,
we
Joseph.
get to see them in a few weeks, which is going to be fun. We do get to see them in a few weeks, and I'm
excited about that. Anyway, so...
Denise, you're in Nevada. Oh, wow, that's so cool.
She's on the road with Troy, I'll bet.
Yeah, I bet. That's awesome. All right, sorry. I'm going to quit getting caught up with people, and we're going to start this thing now.
We like people.
We do like people.
Anyway.
I just get so excited when I see people that I love.
Again, make sure and tell us where you're listening from and comment as we're delivering. And the reason is because it helps boost and gets more people. Facebook allows more people to see it if we've got some interaction going on here. So you don't have to write anything you don't want to, but you better write something.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so, again, how do you reclaim love's euphoria?
Are you ready to get started?
I'm ready to get started.
You want to get started with like the real
So
thing?
today's official title, 10 ways. We're going to give you 10 tips, hacks, whatever you want to call them, best practices to reclaim love's euphoria long after those chemicals of first attraction fade away. And here's what I found interesting. And you're more intellectual about these kind of things. But I read about a drug that's induced from our body or whatever called you look really intellectual. Vasopressin. I think I said that right. But it's literally called the monogamy chemical, right? Did I say that right?
Vasopressin?
Yeah, vasopressin.
Yes, that's correct.
So tell them about it a little bit of what happens in those first times when we come together and we're attracted to one another at the waning part. From my understanding, that's when vasopressin's released, right?
So vasopressin, there's two different chemicals, okay? So check it out. This is kind of cool. Like, I like this kind of thing. Goodbye. I love that comment. You can make that one again. Anyway, so like vasopressin is the one that you probably have now. It's the one that kicks in a little bit later on in the relationship.
Okay.
Early on in the relationship. Now, it's vasopressin is what causes us to want to bond and be lifelong mates, if you will.
It's the monogamous
sense? It is
chemical.
monogamy, right, that would cause me to desire to be with only you and to build a life with this lovely lady. So there's probably a lot of different chemicals that might cause that, but vasopressin is what does that. Now, if we tick back,
right?
One of the more euphoric type
Yep.
chemicals that is released is oxytocin.
Yep.
And oxytocin would come a lot more naturally in the early part of the relationship because of the attraction, the newness, and and all these different things. A little bit more of a thrill of discovery and stuff. But as time goes on, we've got to work to create that oxytocin. You can still tap into the power of oxytocin.
That's why I still get butterflies sometimes.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
That excites me. I'm glad to hear that. But legit, like there's times when you're not exactly feeling butterflies.
Right.
And maybe quite the opposite, in fact. You may be feeling bored.
Yep.
You may be feeling like, okay, you know, right, like I really miss those days when we had euphoria. I really miss those days when we were really excited to hear one another's stories and to be together. You know, I mean, we spent hours on the telephone. I hate talking on the phone, but I talked with you like literally for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours at a time.
Yep.
When we were dating, you remember that?
Yeah, it's kind of fun because we watch our kids at different times have this kind of interaction, and so it's one of the things that we recently took note of is that we've been together for 23 years, married for 22, and in that things do change, and especially now that I'm 50, there's some things that are going on, and so what I wanted to do though is not give in to that. You guys know that we're always talking about what do you really want, and I wanted love's euphoria, and so I wanted to cultivate those things. I didn't want to give way to feeling fatigued or feeling fat or feeling old or all the things that can come along with this kind of age bracket. And so one of the things that we've done is we're working out and some practical things like that. But what I realized is
exercising, in other words, and eating better. Okay. Yep.
Everything that is worthwhile takes effort. Whether it's getting physically in shape or getting your relationship in shape or spending time with your kids and cultivating that relationship or doing a good job at work, everything worthwhile takes intentionality. Yeah. And so I wanted to be intentional to have euphoria. I wanted to be intentional to cultivate the giggles. And so we're going to share 10 ideas to cultivate those euphoric type feelings. But here's what's great. There's something even far greater than love's euphoria, and that is that mature bonding, that connection with your mate. So, Greg, though, let's share some ideas for those that are listening. How do you create love's euphoria again and be intentional to cultivate that in a relationship after 23 years together, for example?
Here it is. Number one, show affection. I mean, the bottom line is that, again, these chemicals that God put in our bodies, He put in them for a reason, for a specific purpose. And so one of the ways that oxytocin is released in our body is through touch. It's through affection. It's through caring for, intentionally caring for someone else. When that happens, the way God designed our bodies, it releases a chemical that causes it to snowball, if you will. You can create it. You can be intentional about it. I've got a quote here. I'm going to have to get the glasses to read it. But physiologist researcher Matt Hertenstein.
Yep.
That's a mouthful. Says this. He says, being affectionate produces oxytocin in your brain. Oxytocin is the neuropeptide which basically promotes feelings of devotion, trust, and bonding.
So the question then is, how can you as a partner, don't wait for your spouse to do it, this is on you, how can you cultivate feelings of affection? So ladies, giggle and wiggle. Giggle and wiggle, right? Touch. Be affectionate. Speak your spouse's love language. If you don't know what that is, listen to some of our previous broadcasts on how
Brandon and Melissa too, by the way.
Yeah.
What was that, Friday of last week?
Yeah, they did a great job with that.
So one of the things that we have done very intentionally as it applies to, really claiming love's euphoria, you said giggle and wiggle.
Giggle and wiggle. I'm going to flirt.
And so that's it. It is like when it comes to showing affection to your spouse, it doesn't have to be like, deep and like, you know what I'm saying?
I'd like to get that freeze frame.
Have fun, in other words. We have very intentionally in the last few weeks began to focus on having fun and even taking note at times that we are having fun so that we can log. Hey, sometimes we get just in a bad mindset and we're having a lot of fun, but we don't recognize that we're having a lot of fun, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So when you're having fun and you're laughing, don't take yourself so serious,
That's
and
so
you'll be
good,
able to have fun and be more affectionate with one another. What's the next thing on that?
All right, number 2. So first, show affection. Number 2, be attentive to your mate. And so look, after 20-some years together, 30-some years together, more than likely, you've probably heard a story a time or two. But I want to encourage you, we want to encourage you, man, just engage their ego, listen to their story, be attentive, make that eye contact, and listen to them. Be attentive to their needs, watch them, and maybe do something out of the ordinary just because you've been watching their body language. Maybe they are like their feet are sore or something like that. You could give a massage, but show them that you're attentive. So for me,
your butt was sore.
No! I've been working on, we're not going to go there. I've been doing
worked
squats.
her legs out at the gym. You know what I'm saying?
We're not doing that though, but be attentive to your mate. What I was going to say is,
just say it.
I've heard a lot of Greg's stories, a time or two, but I'm going to be attentive and act as though it's the first time I've ever heard it. And you know what? Sometimes when I do that, I actually pick up on nuances or things about
new
him.
detail.
Yeah.
Likewise, and I think that that's important. I think that, again, you've heard us say, if you've been around for very long, that in a marriage, in any area of life, once we get comfortable, complacency comes along with comfort. You know, and so when we get comfortable with one another in our relationship, then we forget, you know, we become complacent and we don't pay as much attention. We're like, I already know how this goes, you know, or what she's going to say or he's going to say next, right?
And we tune out and we miss something.
We do. And I think that if we're going to reap the benefits of discovering one another for a lifetime, that we need to be attentive and we need to be intentional. These are things that we do intentionally. A wise man once said, I think it was Dale Carnegie, he said, seek first to understand and then be understood. If you don't get anything else, be attentive to your spouse, be attentive to the people around you, and seek first to understand. Listen for understanding rather than listening for reply. And it's interesting because as I've listened to you, first of all, I really appreciate that you listen to me, right? But as I've listened to you and I've been intentional about this, the more that I've learned to practice it, the more that I really do find that I do pick up on little nuances or I do discover something new. And I love discovering something new about you.
Right.
About the way you might respond or even the way that you would tell the story. Another tip for the guys here, let me tell you something. Guys, girls like to laugh. So if you're one of those serious-minded, intense guys like sometimes I can be, please make it a point. Write in your planner, write a note in your phone, do whatever it takes. But remember, girls like to laugh. They're attracted to guys that will make them laugh. You see it in movies, but the truth is that is absolutely a fact in real life. Girls like to laugh. If you're taking yourself so seriously that you can't laugh at yourself, probably going to hinder her from laughing. So listen, that one was for free. It's not
Well,
really...
yeah, actually it is on the list. It's
It
laugh
is.
a lot. Yeah, laugh a lot. So find humor in situations and circumstances and don't take life too seriously. That's number 3. Number 4, share appreciation. Man, a thank you. Thank you for spending time with me. Thanks for taking me out to dinner. Thank you for, opening the door or just thank you. Showing appreciation is a great one. Can I do one more? Because I want to do this next one too.
Okay, go ahead.
The next one is, so number 4 is share your appreciation. Number 5 then would be explore and do new things together. You know, when you think about when you first started dating, man, I learned to shoot a gun. I went
pretty good shot,
canoeing, I went camping, I went scuba diving and did all kinds of new things. Ladies, guys love when you do shared activities together. And I think girls love that too. You know, it's sharing those activities and doing something new, exploring together, going somewhere new together. This doesn't have to cost a lot. But man, it could just be, speaking of Brandon and Melissa took a picture of the seashore or the ocean, and there was all these shells. And so it's living in this place of just exploring the world around you.
I love
that builds excitement and anticipation when you're going to go on vacation or when you are going to do something new together. That creates that love euphoria, that oxytocin that we were talking about.
It does indeed. Let me tell you how simple this can be. The other night, we had a date night plan.
I know where you're going. We'll have to share the pictures. Yeah, go ahead.
We will have to share the
we'll
pictures.
share
It'll
the
be awesome.
pictures.
Anyway,
Check back for the pictures.
So we had a date night planned, but what we had planned wasn't really jamming with us. And so it was kind of like, okay, do we just pop in a movie here at home, or do we go ahead and do something, you know? And so we made a decision, you know. I'm like, hey, I want to get out of the house. I want to spend some time away in a different environment with you. Let's just go and piddle. That's what we call it.
We call it piddling.
We're gonna go piddle, which means we're gonna go some stores we've never been to before, and we're just gonna explore. We're gonna go walk around, sometimes Walmart or, you know, some department store, or even at the mall. We may or may not buy anything. We're not going there for that purpose. We're just going to spend time together and check things out. Well, we ended up, there's a new store
called Ollie's.
So we went out to dinner that night, right?
We went to dinner, we went to Ollie's, and tell them what happened.
Anyway, so there's this new store that opened up, Ollie's. It's like one of those bargain stores. It's like a gigantic yard sale, only not really. It's just got a bunch of marked down stuff of all different varieties. So we cruised in there and we had a blast just checking things out. Now, I wouldn't go there for a serious shopping trip in reality, you know. It probably won't be someplace that I frequented. But just going into some of these weird little stores and checking things out, we ended up buying probably what? $60 or $70 worth of stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could find the picture, but
hadn't
I can't,
planned.
so.
But anyway, we'll post the pictures. But we found a nice mask. Now I know that's a sensitive subject to some of you.
I found a new mask to wear out in public that will make everybody smile. So you'll just have to look later at the. Well, I have to tell them it's an elf mask with really big ears. You'll see it.
It's a Santa Claus.
No, he's got big ears. I don't know. We'll see.
It's a Santa Claus.
You let us know if it's a Santa or an elf one later when
Maybe
we post
it is an elf.
All right, so.
Anyway, my point is simply this. You can have fun if you choose to have fun and just get out and do something different that's outside of your normal activities. Don't be afraid to do that. Sometimes we dread that. It's like, oh, what if it doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work out?
All right.
You had an adventure together. It's all going to come out based on your attitude and how you think about it and how you approach it as you're cruising through your day.
Let me give you the first 5 again. 1, show affection. 2, be attentive to your mate. 3, share your appreciation. 4, explore and do new things together. 5, laugh a lot. Number 6, purposely discover your spouse. And so that goes back to that place of being attentive or attentive to your mate, but maybe find out again some things that you share in common. Go and discover together. And we've got a common interest survey. If you'd like that, email us. We'll be happy to send that to you, but study their moves.
Here's the deal. I'm going to share one of my best practices that whoever's watching right now, you need it. You need it. I'm telling you, if you're married, you need this best practice.
You want oxytocin, do this one.
Here's something that I started doing that has truly rekindled, you know, some of that euphoria and caused me to look at Julie afresh. I creep on her.
We keep talking about the creeping, so tell them you're not really a creep, but you are creeping on me quickly.
I creep on my wife. I developed this as a discipline in originally several months ago, maybe a year ago, because I was kind of feeling like I love Julie, you know what I mean? But I was kind of missing some of those early day euphoric feelings, right? And I'm like, man, Lord, help me know and teach me what I need to do to begin to appreciate and be able to see her. You know, if you've been with somebody for a little while, they may be beautiful, absolutely gorgeous, like Jules. But what's funny is we stop seeing them really. You know what I mean? Because again, we get comfortable, and when we get comfortable, we get complacent. And so I had stopped really being able to see. I compliment Julie's beauty, and I still see that she's beautiful, and I think she has an awesome body and all these different things, right? But there's also this place where Julie's kind of around my house all the time, so she's almost like a piece of furniture. Stay with me, because you know you can relate if you've been married for a little while. In other words, she's just there, you know? I mean, I don't know. And so I started, as I was praying about this, I felt like I needed to be able to see her as a human being again, like I needed to see her as a person again, you know?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? You mean you weren't seeing her as a human being? I don't think I was. I think I was seeing her as my wife. I think I was seeing her as mommy. I think I was seeing her as, you know, the person that I live with. So I started creeping on her. I began to think, as I would watch her do whatever it was that she was doing, whether she was angry, whether she was frustrated, whether she was happy, joyful, whatever. Like I watch her, I study her. I'm like, what's going on in her mind? I learn things about you when I do that. And it causes me, even on days when maybe you're off or when you're frustrated about something, you know, if I can, instead of kicking you while you're down, instead of beating you up because you're having an off day, like, what's your problem? You know, when I'm able to look and think, I wonder what's going on with Jules. I wonder what's caused her. Wonder what's caused her to
be a cranky old woman.
to be responding the way that she is. She's a person. If she's off and she's cranky, something's probably happened that maybe I could help her with, or maybe I don't need to solve or fix the issue, but maybe what I need to do is I need to come and love on her just a little bit and tell her, you know what, baby, I love you so much. Let me tell you a couple things I appreciate about you.
Right.
Thank you so much for tirelessly taking care of the home, for cooking for us all the time and doing such a great job. You've gotten to be a really good cook.
Thank you.
I couldn't always say that, but you've gotten to be a really good cook.
First.
Anyway, so creep on your spouse. Study them. Begin to look at them. Look at them with curiosity. Think what's going on in their mind, you know. Think, wonder what I could do to improve his or her day. Wonder what I could do to speak life over them rather than kicking them while they're down. You want some oxytocin? Some of that good stuff you get automatically when you first meet? These are some ways in order to help you do that. Why don't you give us the next one?
Yeah, so another great practice is to anticipate a good time.
Oh, that's good, yeah.
You know, it's funny because, like, when you first get together, you can't wait to get together and have that day. You are going to have fun. You are going to enjoy. You're going to have conversation. You're going to do something new. And so when you think about 22, 23 years later, maybe you just kind of got used to going and doing the same routine or mundane thing. And so in your own mind, build up that anticipation, right? Which goes along with another one.
Well, let me comment on that, can I?
Yeah, but
You want to finish your thought? Go ahead.
Well, there's two that go along with it,
Go ahead.
and then maybe we can just talk about it.
Okay.
So, number 7 is anticipate a good time. Number 8 is look for ways to impress them, and number 9, use your words. And so when I think about anticipate a good time, I also think about those times when we first got together and I wore makeup. I didn't just throw on my baggy pants and throw my hair up.
They're not baggy.
He calls them poopy pants.
They're her poopy pants. She puts her poopy pants on.
Okay, no, I put on, So anyways, when we first went out, I would have never dreamed of wearing my poopy pants. Well, you're telling on me today. My butt was sore, my poopy pants. Anyway. Anticipate a good time. Dress to impress. You know, I want to look my best for you. I'm going to go out on a date and experience and expect that we're going to have fun. And here's a little twist that sometimes I do. Sometimes things don't go as planned. And so rather than, this isn't what I wanted to do, or this is, not what I expected, I switch it and think, you know what? I'm going to anticipate a good time. We're going to have fun together.
I mean,
and I'm going to embrace and lean in. Okay, now you could go ahead.
I was just going to say
I
on
just
that.
wanted to get my words in.
Thank you. Yes, are you done?
I'm done.
Did you think I could have the mic for a second
You
here?
can just for a minute.
I think
I'm timing it.
Here's the bottom line. There's lots of things that I wanted to say about it, but here's what I will say about it very quickly. Set a date night. You hear us talk about date nights, and date nights, I believe, are very important. But what we learned personally is that when we set a day and a time, then it allows us to be able to anticipate a good time.
Ooh, yeah.
And we also are intentional about building that anticipation within ourselves. If Wednesday night is date night because the kids are going to youth or something like that, which is what it was for a couple of years there for us, Wednesday night was our date night. Then Wednesday night is date night because you can go out and you don't have any guilt for not taking the kids with you and all that good stuff, okay? But it caused me on Wednesday mornings to wake up and think, tonight's date night. This is awesome. And so I began to intentionally cultivate that anticipation so that I would think those thoughts.
Little flirty notes throughout the day too. Like we would send little texts, and we still do, but it is anticipating we're going to have fun tonight.
Now, a tip, if things don't work out like you thought they were going to work out, sometimes that can be kind of a drag. But again, I'm going to tell you, it all resides in your attitude and how you respond to those kind of things. So if you're anticipating a good time, what was that other thing you said? Look for ways to impress them.
And use your words.
Use your words. I think the bottom line is that in your attitude, the other night things didn't go like you really thought they were going to go.
Nope. I had a man date planned. You didn't necessarily feel that well, but then we ended up going out just piddling, and that's when we did the stupid mask, and we giggled up, laughed.
Yeah, fair enough. But that's not the night that I'm talking about. I'm talking the night that we did do the man date.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And you were a little off your square because you were tired.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But what's cool when things don't work out the way you think they're going to work out is, again, in your attitude, and you did a good job with this even though you were tired, is if you lean in, when it doesn't work out like you think it was going to, the awesome thing about it is that with the right attitude, you can laugh at it.
Yeah.
You can make it fun. Even though it might be a drag, your attitude makes all of the difference. And so we sat down and we were going to have a private time together.
Yeah.
And there were these two dudes, they were sucking down a couple of beers, that wanted to engage us in conversation, not realizing it was actually our date night.
And they engaged the whole time. But hey, you know what? Here's what, it goes along with that. Look for ways to impress them. On a first date, I would have never got mad or frustrated.
We just went with it.
We would have just went with it.
And you did.
And I did, yeah. They're going to think I'm off my
so
square all the time.
No, they don't think you're off your square all the time.
I'm really not.
They see you at least once a week, so they know you're not off the... But anyway, so we got a final one?
Yep.
Because you gave us all the way through 9.
9, use your words, though, too. Express your excitement to see. We got a jackhammer or something going on
There is a
outside
jackhammer outside, so if you're picking up, it feels like we're having an earthquake.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
We kind of are.
But what do they dream about? Use your words to, like you just did, like what you appreciate. Make a game to discover something new about them. The conversation starters are a great way to use your words. Man, when you begin to express love over your spouse, those feelings of euphoria, just like Matt Ertenstein or whoever he was, Epstein said, right? That affection begins to create that oxytocin, and you actually begin to get that love's euphoria towards one another. Number 10, if we haven't said it, make your spouse a priority. Set them as your intention and treat them with kindness. Man, kindness goes a long way. It's the kindness of just doing something a little extra. It's creating that love bond, creating that deeper connection that says, I see you and I care. And so whether you ever feel the full euphoria like you did when you first started dating, these best practices, the 10 best practices of treating your spouse with kindness and making them your priority, that's going to help. The expressing love's appreciation, all of these best practices are going to cultivate connection. And occasionally, you're going to get to feel those butterflies in your tummy when you're giggling and wiggling, when you're having fun, when you're wearing stupid elf masks or Santa mask.
In the middle of a store, and people are laughing with you.
Yeah, it's so worth it, guys. Anything worthwhile is worth fighting for.
Yeah, sure is. I think...
so what's your best practice? We can even ask them that.
Yeah, if you'll put a best practice up there, that would be honest. Some things that you do to keep the love euphoria moving. I was just thinking on this last point, honey, I was pondering that, of prioritizing and treat your partner with kindness. Again, we talk a lot about intentionality. My question is, when is the last time that you took a week, let alone a month?
Right.
I would encourage you to. We make so many different things our priority, and there is not a single relationship or thing that we will do in our life that will have more impact on our long-term happiness, healthiness, and wealthiness, for that matter.
That's so good.
Statistically, this has been cited by both Christian and secular studies, that will have more of an impact on us than our marriage relationship. The happier we are in our marriage and more content and satisfied we are, then the happier, healthier, and wealthier we tend to be, statistically. With all that being said, and it makes sense, actually, it makes common sense to me. We'll save that for another day. But when's the last time you took 30 days or even a week and purposely made your number one priority your spouse in your relationship? Purposely engaged in each one of these things like we talked about today, and any other thing that might come to pass or come to mind. but like to really intentionally focus on building your relationship and connecting with one another for, again, I would say, I dare you to try it for 30 days. I dare you to make your spouse, your love relationship, your priority for 30 days. Just 30 days.
Yep.
You've made a lot of other things priorities. You made them priority at one time, so I know you got it in you. If you can do that, I guarantee you, you're going to learn, you're going to discover, and you're going to find some more of those euphoric kind of feelings. You're going to see them change as you begin to do this. Now, hopefully they'll join in on the challenge, but you don't even have to tell them that you're doing it. If you begin to do it, I think you're going to reap from the seeds that you plant as you do that, and you're going to really enjoy the harvest that you get.
I love it. So, hey, we would love to invite you to get this in written form. If you're not part of our weekly Word of Encouragement, we're going to post this on our blog. So you can go to marriedforapurpose.com and subscribe to this blog so that you get it in your inbox in case you miss a week or you're at work and can't really take the full effect. You can get it in a nutshell, the written form.
Well, that way you'll have all of
practices.
the notes and such, but there's also some things in there that we didn't necessarily cover today.
Yeah, there's a lot more in
It's
there.
a great blog. Does that launch tomorrow? Was that when
I
that's
think
released?
it'll go live tomorrow. Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so. But they come each week, so make sure that you do that.
So if they sign up today, they'll get it tomorrow in their inbox.
They will indeed.
So you need to go to marriedforapurpose.com is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, go to marriedforapurpose.com, subscribe, and we'll be happy to send that to you. You can also find us on YouTube if you want to rewatch in a more edited version.
YouTube is Married for a Purpose is the handle, right?
Yep, sure
Okay.
is. Yep. And other than that, if this blessed you, if this encouraged you, be sure to share your best practices as well. We'd love to read through them and get
Please.
more ideas for our life and encourage other couples with what you're learning
You bet.
and how you're growing in your relationship. And let's all restore marriages and restore family together. Catch you next
Amen.
week.
Hey, don't be afraid to push this forward to someone you think it might bless or put it on your wall, if you will. Have a great week, guys. We'll be checking back with you on Wednesday morning of next week.
All right. We'll see you then.